So I don't know why I was thinking about this today, but I've been noticing either in our culture or just in how people are raised, how people are communicated with, there seems to be a lack of encouragement for people to be self sufficient, not just in how we solve problems, how we handle our emotions, but also in how we as a community, as a culture, approach encouraging people to do things on their own. I've been trying to figure out a way to actually explain my thoughts on this because it's kind of jumbled and comes from a lot of places. There's a lot of anecdotes. There's a lot of things that I've seen online and just kind of in the news that seem to kind of be tying into the same general theme. So I'll try my best to kind of like explain this and make sure that everything kind of ties together the way that I'm at least seeing it. It's going to be a little bit rambly, and I apologize for that because, well, let's just be real. Most of the videos that I'm going to be making are kind of rambly, just ranty videos, but I'm going to at least try to stay on topic. So I'm going to open up with a little bit of an anecdote. I work in IT. I've said that before several times. I'm going to basically say it in every video because I draw a lot of experiences from my work life and other things that I just kind of do. I work in IT. My primary role is an account manager. Essentially, it's complicated what I do, and I can't really explain it because of the way that stuff kind of works at my job. But at its core, I'm an account and access manager. I also do general IT. I do some light networking and a little bit of programming when I can. It's a little bit of everything. I wear a lot of hats, but at its core, I manage people's access and make sure that people are able to get into the things that they need to do, and I make sure that the people that we work with and our contractors and everybody else like that have the ability to get into the programs and stuff that we support. One of the things that I've kind of developed a pet peeve with is not so much people just asking for help, but people asking simple questions that you could just Google. Not calling anybody out if people that I work with see this. I'm not holding anything against you guys, but I am going to use some of the experiences that I have had to kind of explain the rest of my thought processes in this video. So, first and foremost, there's everybody knows the meme about the boomer that really doesn't know how to convert a Word document to a PDF. How do I convert this? I will get questions that are similar to that. I've had people ask me, "Hey, how do I save my bookmarks? Hey, how do I um, open this file? How do I XYZ?" And it's things that don't require admin access or don't require security protocols to open. It's just a simple function of save document, save as PDF, save. I know it's usually easier to go to the IT guy to explain it because the IT guy is just going to get straight to the point. Yeah, that's cool. I understand. We all want to save some time. But at the end of the day, I've noticed that people really are adverse to just looking something up themselves. The entirety of human knowledge is on the internet, and you have that at your fingertips, and yet you choose to go to me. Well, personally, I find that kind of flattering. But at the same time, when I have other things to do, I find it really sad that people just use me as the primary source of information. Why not go and just take a 6-second Google search to save Word doc as PDF and have images and a whole article and a slew of information at your fingertips and just try it? It is one of those things that really just kind of seems to bother me. But I'll get into kind of why I'm talking about this in particular in a couple of seconds, because there's a couple other things I want to get to first before I really start to kind of like explore my thoughts on this. That is one of the things that I have seen. Another thing that I have seen, just at least in the business world, is with usually the older generation, but it is kind of the same thing for some of the younger people too. A fear of technology that I've seen where something changes. So, oh, I have to use a new password manager, or oh, we're not using Adobe anymore. We're using this thing now, and I've never touched it. What do I do? It's going to explode if I open it up. Some people kind of joke about that, but I have had a lot of people that have made jokes like that, and they're like, "Oh, I'm just going to break it, haha, if I turn it on." Well, it's not designed to just explode as soon as you turn on a program. Like your computer isn't going to do that. If we made bombs and gave them out to people as workplace objects, I'm pretty sure the people that made that would not be in business anymore, if you catch my drift. So it's one of those things that is kind of funny. Like it's a little bit of a cope that I've seen where people kind of say like, oh, I'm really just not good with technology. But people seem to just be kind of scared of learning new things, or at least trying new things when it comes to that. And unless they have somebody to hold their hand, even if it's just to sit there and watch them use it, I've noticed that people are really scared of just figuring something out on their own. And this is coming from people that are genuinely very intelligent people. I know people in finance who could balance a budget and make sure that you have your entire portfolio made for the next 60 years and you'll be fine, who can't even operate a printer. And printers are pretty easy. Click connect, click print, send. But c'est la vie. It's one of those things that again kind of gets back to people really seem to have just a constant mental block of how to do things on their own. I understand not wanting to break stuff. I don't want to break stuff. But at the end of the day, typically you're not going to break something beyond repair unless you just nuke a program off the face of the earth, which there are security protocols and blah blah blah. I'm getting sidetracked with that. What am I kind of getting at? Well, two things. One, people seem to be kind of tricked into thinking that they can't do stuff on their own. And two, how do we fix that? I see a lot of videos online where basically people see issues in government and issues in society. And I'm not even going to get into the whole Gen Z race war thing where like men are men and women and they hate each other, but they actually want each other. And how do we fix it? I don't know. We just hate each other more. And it's just one of those things that that's something I've kind of grown tired of seeing. And I want to at least be able to kind of voice my opinions on something and at least offer some sort of encouragement for any issues that I kind of see. And you may disagree. If you do, that's totally cool. Put your comments down below. I read everything that comes up on my channel because I'm pretty small. So the first point, people seeming to be convinced that they can't do stuff. Where does that come from? It's kind of a mixed bag of tricks when it comes to that. Growing up, we are told you can't really get a job unless you go to college. We are told, oh, you're not going to do anything unless you finish school. We're told you can't do this thing because XYZ, this isn't how it's been done. Personally, I think that breeds insecurity in oneself. Insecurity in somebody being able to go out and figure out their own kind of thing. I'm going to lead into another personal anecdote. I didn't originally get into IT because I liked fixing things and I knew how to fix things. 5 years ago, I didn't even know how a computer worked. I didn't know how a PC was built or how they run. I was personally one of the people that was also scared of computers. I didn't like turning them on. I was very comfortable playing video games on the Xbox because it was this thing that was just designed to play games. And if I turned it on, great. And if I turn it off, it turns off. And I can play a game and just call it good and nothing explodes. It's fine. It's all managed by Big Daddy Microsoft and I don't have to worry about it. It was great. But as life went on, I kind of got curious about technology. I'm like, well, computers are kind of cool and I'm going to need one anyways when I go into college. So I spent quite literally 6 months going through and learning about CPUs and what are the differences between them and how do graphics cards work and why the hell do I need X amount of RAM and what kind of RAM works with what, how to build a computer. And I built my own computer that I've been using to this day for the last 6 years. It was really, really cool. But before that, I was also convinced that I need to go to college to learn how to do computer stuff. What's funny is I went through my full 4 years of college and I cannot tell you a single thing that was useful from college aside from how to teach myself stuff, which you can do on your own outside of college. I'm going to kind of expand on that a bit. Like I said, this is going to be a very rambly video because I got a lot of stuff that I'm kind of trying to put together in my brain, so I apologize for that. But where was I really getting with this? Basically, Until you actually go out and start to try and teach yourself stuff and learn stuff and just be self-sufficient in that regard, I've found that people seem to be utterly convinced that they can't do it. And it's really, really sad because there are plenty of tutorials out there. There's plenty of information. And yes, it's a little bit of a time sink, but take an extra 5 minutes out of the day to learn how to do something simple, you know? Find a guide on how to convert that Word document to a PDF so you don't got to bother your IT guy every day. Or figure out what kind of size wood screws you need to screw into the side of a wall so that your TV doesn't fall off. You know, simple things. Start simple, start small, and build yourself up from there. It's very weird when you start to kind of see little things that tend to convince people that they really can't do stuff. I mentioned at the start of this whole kind of like second ramble where society seems to tell people you can't do something until you go to school, or people aren't really going to believe in you until you XYZ, or you have this piece of paper that says you're qualified for stuff. People really don't mention that there are other ways to get certified for things or prove that you know how to do things and build your own set of credentials. For example, I went to college for 4 years for computer science, and I have a bachelor's in computer science, which is, hey, great, awesome, you know, good for me, pat myself on the back there. But I'm going to be entirely honest, personally, I think that piece of paper is pretty useless because at the end of the day, I learned some Java, some C code, which honestly I still don't remember a whole lot of. They showed me assembly, which nobody uses assembly. It's terrible. They didn't tell me really how to repair or maintain computers. I did that as a hobby because I built my own and had to learn how to do it on my own in my own time. Aside from that, I took a couple of game design courses. They were really cool, but at the end of the day, I really didn't learn and maintain a whole lot of stuff because of how fast the courses went. I had to reverse engineer everything. It was really just kind of crazy. At the end of the day, everything that happened was stuff that I had to force myself into figuring out and reverse engineering and kind of understanding the pattern of things, and that was about it. As far as things that I find actually valuable that I learned, well, I ran the esports group that I was in college, and I learned a lot about relationships with people, running a business, community organization. It was really cool. I learned a lot about how to communicate with people professionally when it came to talking to my professors and stuff, which honestly, that was a really good bonus. There was a couple finance courses that I took that were actually pretty good, and honestly, I've used those tools to this day, which is pretty awesome. But aside from that, college really isn't everything. There are other ways to certify yourself. If you want to get into IT stuff, dude, Microsoft has an entire suite of certifications and courses that you can just take for absolutely free at, I think it's like Microsoft.learn or MicrosoftLearn.com or whatever. Just go look it up, make an account, and you can start learning stuff. I think the only thing you got to pay for is the test when you take them, because they give you actual certifications that you can put on your resume and say, hey, I'm qualified to work on servers now at level 2, level 3 access or whatever, and you just do it. It's really cool. There's a lot of tools that are out there that you can just do. Half the time when I was learning stuff about computers, I just YouTubed everything because half the time the one Indian guy on YouTube that you find that's on some obscure channel, he teaches 7 times better and faster than the professor who had an entire course on XYZ that you spend an hour learning how to do one thing. Indian guy teaches you in 5 minutes, you can figure it out, do it easy. It's amazing. There are so many ways that you can actually go and just learn stuff, and like I said before, until you just start doing it, you're convinced that you can't do it. And it's crazy. So how do we go about fixing this self-sufficiency issue? Well, I've kind of been hinting at it this entire time. And I hate to sound like a cliche, but just do it. If there is something that you are curious about, you don't know what it is, start looking something up. I guarantee you there is a YouTube video out there, which YouTube kind of sucks now, I know, but there are articles, there are people out there. I guarantee there are people in your life that you could probably talk to and ask, like, hey, you know, do you know anything about XYZ? I got some friends that I have talked to about finances and stocks because personally, I'm clueless about that stuff. I am terrible at it. The first time that I tried investing, I lost about $2,000. And I haven't invested since because it's been terrible. But uh, there are other methods of doing things and finding things, and you should just start looking at it. A lot of people seem to have a fear of failure when it comes to that kind of stuff, where I tried to learn this thing and I didn't get it right, and now I felt like an idiot. Well, why would you feel like an idiot? It's not like you're proving anything to anybody else. You're trying to figure something out on your own time. Okay, who's judging you? And honestly, at the end of the day, everybody started in the exact same spot, square zero, where you don't know anything. Some people may have learned a little bit faster. Other people may have been born into a family of, I don't know, tech gurus. So they've been surrounded by computers all their life and they've figured it out themselves. Like, okay, cool. But at the end of the day, you started with zero information, zero knowledge. You had to figure it out. Everybody has been at that point. Nobody will judge you for trying to learn. If anything, people will judge you for giving up the first time that you fail. People that do that, we got a word for them. Losers. You, oh, good job, you tried, you half-assed it, and the next thing you know is, what, you don't want to do anymore? Like, what are you talking about? Like, why not? You got so close the first time. Why not figure it out again? It's crazy. So all of that in a nutshell kind of leads into my last closing topic. I apologize for this being 16 minutes. I wasn't expecting it to be this long. People that are convinced that they cannot do things on their own tend to rely on other people for just about everything. Emotional support, financial support. How do I go get the mail on my own? Where is this location that you just told me about? People can easily fall into a rut where they think, unless I have somebody holding my hand, or unless I have somebody who knows this other thing inside and out, I cannot do it. And they will always operate with a fear of failure or a fear of insecurity, which again is a very odd one to me. Like, why would you be scared of not knowing what to do? You can put two and two together. I've seen people do it all the time where, hey, square peg goes in the square hole. Okay, great. And then that's it. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is a little bit cliche coming from just a dude on the internet, but it's something that I think people tend to lean too much on, and it's really sad because I have seen a lot of potential and a lot of really good people just go to waste. So that's just about everything that I really got. That's all the stuff that I was really kind of thinking about today. Like I said, I really don't know why I was thinking of everything, but it's just kind of something that was swimming around in the back of my head. So I hope that you find some encouragement to go look something up or go try something small. If it's working out, look up how to work out one part of your body. Don't try and figure out a whole full body workout routine and figure out diets and everything. Don't do that. Just find out, how do I do push-ups correctly? Boom, done. There you go. If you're looking at technology, if you want to figure out how a computer works, honestly, the best advice that I would say is just find out what a computer is made up of and then start picking it apart. It's got the CPU, graphics card, RAM, motherboard, power supply, case that holds it all together. How does it work? Well, let's start with the case. Oh, case has headers and blah, blah, blah. Oh, what's a header? And it spirals. Technology is really weird like that. You can go into a million different rabbit holes and just figure stuff out. Finances, I'm not going to give you any advice on that one because I suck at finances. I keep all of my stuff in one massive Excel sheet and log everything manually because honestly, it's what works for me. But that's about that. So yeah, that's about where I'm gonna cut stuff off. It's been about 20 minutes. That's probably long enough. So I wasted enough of you guys' time. If you did find anything fun about this, I don't know why you would find me rambling fun. Go figure. I don't know. Drop a follow, drop a like. I'm not really doing this to grow. I'm just kind of doing this to feel like I did something in my free time aside from just kind of sitting around. So yeah, that's everything. My name is Artas. Next upload is probably going to be, I don't know, a couple of days, depending on when I get some free time to record again. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. So my opinions here are my own. Have a great day, everybody. Much love. Artas, signing off.